Hey, good evening, everyone. Hope you guys are all doing well today. This is a little bit of a later day video. Close to 9 o'clock. I'm going to start getting ready to go to sleep here soon. But I had a realization today. And I just, whenever I have these little light bulbs or whatever, I like to make videos so that I'll remember it. And then hopefully it helps you guys if it sparks something in your brains that potentially leads to another. But yeah, I don't want to get too lost in that. Anyways, let's get into it. So what was my realization today? Well, it started off here on gold. So let's switch over to gold. Like I said, I've been focusing a lot on gold recently. Still looking at other charts just because you can't go wrong looking at charts. But as far as intraday and what I'm looking to grab, it's mostly gold. And so one thing that I have kind of shifted over to doing is, rather than looking at support and resistances on the lower time frame, the 5 minute, I'm looking for support and resistance on the 30 minute, which is, it kind of makes sense because we're trading off the 30 minute. At least I am. I'm looking at the 30 minute to find my triggers and then go into the lower time frame to enter. So this was gold today, and it's been in this kind of chop consolidation zone ever since we had this big sell-off yesterday. And I've already mentioned this before, looking for that clear area, that clear space to trade into, because you don't want to trade into support, you don't want to trade in resistance. That makes sense. So this was the trade on gold today. So you can see this is where I'm already awake. I'm looking at my charts here at 5:30 in the morning, and we're kind of getting basically these little moves up, not too much momentum as far as RSI, but once we do, you can see it kind of keeps getting smacked down, and it's basically just ranging inside this little consolidation area. And I want to show you where exactly the trade took off and why it took off. So if you look over on the 30 minute, we had all these little areas of resistance, right? We had this one, and ultimately we had that high right there. And this is what I'm getting at right here. This final high, the only thing left to the left, or the only resistance that's left, is when you look left, you see you have the high of this big candle, and then beyond that you have this flip zone, this pivot zone up here. So really you only have these resistances, and let's mark that up just to have it up. So you can see all these other little resistances, they're very close together, but then once you have this final ultimate high, you kind of actually have a little bit of space. And measured out, this is, I believe, is 14 pips right here. And I'll do that just to confirm with you. So from here, let's take off the magnet. From here to here, yeah, about 16 pips, 15 pips, thereabouts. That's definitely a trade right there. If you were to get in on that, 15 pips is magnificent. That's great. So let's get rid of these because those are unimportant. The only ones I care about is right here, this high and this high, because this is going to be our trading area. So let's go back all the way over here to where we were trading in the morning. You can see on the 5 minute, exactly on the internals, what's happening. And it's kind of, again, just ranging. And then finally, what happens? So we have a break above the 20 level, the trigger, which is great. Momentum continues. And this is from another video I've explained before, where if you want to join trend, the 15 minute is really good for that. So if you look on the 15 minute, we have a bust, pullback, break, and close right here. It's just beautiful. So now we're actually joining trend on this candle. So now we move over here to the 5 minute. Let's look for our entry. And what do we have? Pulls back, and then it breaks through the 20 level. Beautiful. Next thing, breaks through our first level. So this, again, remember, this is our trading area right here in this little spot. Once it breaks this level, like I said, there's nothing in between this area besides these two pivot points. So it just goes, it just flies. So not only would you have made your money in between here, but it also went beyond that. A lot of times that has to do with just momentum, just flying right through. So it ended up being a 40 pip trade, which is crazy. That is great. So that's a really good trade. And it all broken down. It just has to do with looking for that clear space, waiting for your momentum to step in. So we had momentum on the 30, we had momentum on the 15, and we got our trigger on the 5 to enter upon. All lined up. It's uptrend. It's trending up. We had our pivots marked up and everything. Great. So what is this? I know this, hopefully this is not too long a video. What does all this have to translate over into this other chart that gave me a light bulb? Well, it has to do with that clear space idea, and it's about wick fills. So I already have looked into wick fills before, but something kind of clicked today thinking about wick fills. And so right here you can probably see this, we have this wick and then we have this next candle over. And if you can't see it already, we had a bust, pullback, and break, but more importantly, it actually closed below the 20 level, which means a break above the 20 is a 20 level trigger, right? I mean, by textbook, that's by definition, when it breaks the 20 level, that's a trigger. So once this next candle over, let's mark it up so we can see what we're talking about. When this candle, 30-minute candle, broke through the 20 level, you can look on the 5 minutes, start looking for an entry. The thing is, the difference is, I had this spark because when I was looking for a trade originally before these two candles formed, there was all this resistance over here, all these little candles and everything, and I was thinking, man, there's a lot of just dead space basically that I can't trade through because it's all resistance, all chop. But once we got this wick fill candle, or this wick candle, it basically gave us a target. It said, let me try this high, came back down, sold off, next candle over, momentum steps back in, it's going to test that high again. So on the 5 minute, what do we get? Bust, pull back, and break right here. At this point, on this next candle over, take it on the break of this candle's highs. Regardless of these candles here being support and resistance on the 5 minute, it doesn't matter because we're not trading the 5 minute. I mean, we are, but we're trading the 30 minute, really. We're trading off the 30 minute, and we know that there's a 30-minute wick fill. We know we have momentum stepping in. These keys are the reason you would take this trade here. So once this candle broke this candle's highs on the 5 minute, you have everything was already lined up at this point. You just grab it here, take it up to the wick. So let's mark up that top of that wick right there, and boom, beautiful 48 pip trade, 48 pip trade on M2K. So it doesn't have quite the same dollar per pip movement, but 48 pips on M2K, that's really good. That's 50 cents a pip. So every contract you're making $24 essentially, which is 50% return. It's crazy, paying $55 a contract. Yeah, just I don't want to get too technical into it, but that's a solid move right there. And it continued up. You could have left a runner, by all means. You don't have to just, I like to take my profit and run, but if you leave a runner, it did continue, never would have stopped you out. Just really good. And the whole realization is when it gives you these wicks like this, it's essentially giving you a free target. It's saying, well, as long as everything lines up, it's going to test this high because this is the nearest area of support or resistance in this case. It's going to come back up and test it. And I could show you more examples. I'm not going to try to look for more right now. I'm gonna start saving examples as I see them and making a little folder and keep posting my trades that way. But yeah, I mean, it all has to do with that clear space to look for a trade. Just so it's so important. That's I'd say one of the biggest keys or pieces to a AAA trade is having that clear space. I'd say it is definitely the most important part. And yeah, hopefully this gave you guys some light bulbs and helps you guys out. I'm just gonna keep sharing. I love sharing my ideas, whether or not it hits or doesn't. For the people that it does stick with and it creates a little light bulb, but that makes me happy because I'm just trying to help out like other people have helped me, like Darren and everybody on Twitter. So yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think. I will leave it there, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later, guys.